Thank you. Hi Pretesh, I'm a recovered addict. Birmingham Tuesday night is my home group, and thank you for having me down here tonight. It's a pleasure. Just want to start off saying I was brought up with knowing right and wrong. I had no childhood traumas, but I just fell into drugs because I love doing drugs and the effects it produced me. And this went on for numerous years, and it was fun. I think sometime in the last 5 years, I can't pinpoint exactly when, it didn't become fun. It wasn't fun. I passed this line, or invisible line as I like to refer it to, where the pleasures of it was gone, and when I wanted to stop on my self-will, I wasn't able to do it. And this cycle happened for a year or so. Firm resolution to say I'm not going to do it this weekend, or let it allow coming to affect my work. It just disappeared. Don't get me wrong, cocaine was my kind of first love, and I enjoyed it throughout the 15 years. Even had like a little nickname called DNA, drugs and alcohol, if you don't know what it is. And I enjoyed that nickname. I was that thrill seeker in some sense, but it started becoming a thrill or a pleasure after a while. So I started to try to limit my usage because I could see it becoming a problem. So try to limit it, only do it on the weekends, never let it come into my work. And it worked for a while, to be fair. It really did. But then it did start to creep into areas of my life where I did not want it to come into. The right or wrong just disappeared. The morals, what morals? It wasn't there. And it was like balancing two lives in some sense. This love for cocaine and trying to stop, and trying to keep this dirty little secret on one side, and then trying to be this son, this person, this actor, if you query, on the other side. And it all came together really hard and fast in my life. It's having a knock-on effect on finances. Obviously, doing drugs, it's not really cheap. Started becoming a bit of a snake as well, trying to get what I wanted, manipulating people, situations. And I couldn't understand this because this wasn't me. I managed to keep both sides separate for so many years, good 15 years. And all of a sudden, it just changed. It was a U-turn. So the debt started racking up, heavy, fast, large sums of money, a lot of borrowing from friends and family. Started losing friends because started becoming this different person. And I didn't enjoy seeing myself turn into this person because that's not me inside. But it happened. Once I started using drugs, you become this different person personally. That was me. And it started having insane actions on my family. So my father was ill, and instead of having those morals to kind of look after my mother, take her to the hospital, once I had a line of coke, I was off for a few days or a few weeks in some instances. Didn't really care what was happening at that time, which is quite scary. This cycle went on for a while, to be fair. These sweet promises of myself, telling myself, I won't do it here. I'll be there for your mother or your father. And I just kept finding myself relapsing. I think 2 or 3 days was my max kind of sobriety. And this is where it got really dark for me. So all this is going on, my father passed away. Right, this is the time where I have an incentive. I put my own willpower. So I promised my father I'll stop doing drugs. And I meant it. I really did mean it, because I just lost the loved one, got to man up, look after my family. So there's enough ammunition in some sense to keep me going. That disappeared. I was off straight away in 2 days' time afterwards. And that just carried on and on. Relapsing, sweet promises, harms causing to my mother, debts racking up. And I thought there was something wrong with me. I really did. I did not want to be here because I didn't want to be doing that to my loved ones. Whilst in one of these sprees, ended up having a fit and waking up in the hospital. So I kind of saw death already, and this was a big eye opener for me. This is another one where I thought I could stop now because I've nearly faced death. Insanity was there anyway because I'm losing my mind. So I was like, right, I won't do cocaine anymore because I've nearly died. That just went straight away out of my mind. Of one, my father passing away, promising him in. Second one, nearly died, and the promises I made that are to myself and to my family, I won't do drugs, and it just disappeared. It was like amnesia in some sense. And that was hard, because I really wanted to kind of stop, and I just didn't know how to do that, and I didn't know a way out, to be fair. So I started putting some strategies in place. One of them was to move my car to my sister's house, which is in a different city. If I don't have the car there, I won't go and see a dealer. Lasted half a day. I was on the train, sniffing coke on the way back. And I get back home and I was just thinking, all of these things that just happened to me, my father being in hospital, nearly died, the promises I would never do it again, it confused me. I didn't know what was going on in some sense. So I changed my number, another strategy. That was, it didn't work at all as well, because I knew the number was already in the cloud. But I meant all these times when I tried to put these strategies in place, I actually really wanted to stop and not do this. Seek help from local drug services. They made it about my feelings. And I made it about them in some sense, saying that they weren't there for me when I need them to kind of hash out this emotional side of it. But it wasn't down to my emotions, because I had some kind of some kind of force or willpower to that I don't want to do it. So I had a nice upbringing, I had morals, I knew that, so that didn't work. There's a page in the book, page 95. If you can do the job in some other way, or prefers other spiritual approach, encourage him to follow his own consensus. I come from a background where religion is quite key, and I started to seek other spiritual help to help me in some sense. Try it all my way, and it failed hard and fast. I was at a dead end in some sense, and I was never a true believer of God. Don't get me wrong, I went to a church from English school, I'm Hindu, and I followed it and I respected it, but never believed. That failed as well, this spiritual thing, because I didn't believe. I now see it that it was a strategy for me, using this other spiritual approach. And by this time, I was rock bottom. I gave up. Didn't really care what's happening to me. And to be honest, I was a bit selfish because I just wanted to die. And that's a horrible thing for your mother to see. So I had the opportunity to take myself out of society, go into a rehab clinic, which was amazing. 28 days of nice food, nice women to look out on the day. I got all my emotional side out, cried a little bit. It was great. I had a nickname in there called Tigger because I was high on life. I Do you know what I thought I nailed it there. And a part of the course was to go to an AA or a CA or a fellowship. That was the best thing of those 28 days that ever happened to me. I walked into the fellowship of CA. I sat there and I listened to some recovered addicts sharing their experiences to the big book, and it hit a nerve. I can feel it hitting it now in some sense. 28 days of emotional thing in the rehab was good. 1 hour listening to a group of people that related to what I was feeling or going through, that knew what they were talking about, it broke me. It broke me so hard that I cried. I never cried that much, even my father when he passed away. I did not cry. And I'm grateful for that, really grateful, because there was a guy there outside, gave me a hug. And he explained, he actually gave me a hug, and then we met up and he went through this illness of alcoholism and went through this program with me to help me have a spiritual awakening. Now it's my duty now to take that message on, to pass it on to someone else. If it wasn't for those select people in those rooms, I don't think I would have been here, to be honest with you. I would have relapsed, or even worse, died by now at a rehab. So yeah, the gratitude for CA and that man was great. Sorry for the short share, but I'm just going to share this from the big book. Our behaviour is absurd and incomprehensible with respect to the first string, as that of an individual with a passion for jaywalking. He gets a thrill skipping out in front of fast-moving vehicles. That's me. I was a thrill seeker most of my life. He enjoys himself for a few years in spite of friendly warnings. Drug and alcohol nickname. That's a friendly warning there straight away. Up to this point, you would label him as foolish, label him as a foolish chap having queer ideas of fun. Luck deserts him and he's slightly injured several times. Debts, putting family through harms. You would expect him, if he was normal, to cut it out. That wasn't normal. Presently, he was hit again. At this time, he has a fractured skull. Me waking up in hospital, me fearing for my life. Within a week after leaving the hospital, a fast-moving trolley car breaks his arm. He tells you that he decided to stop jaywalking for good. Another firm resolution. I had plenty of those throughout my life for good, but in a few weeks he breaks both of his legs. Yeah, I'll just leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you, Pretesh.